Random RPG, AI, let's go. I need some kind of charge attack whose range will be from far away. Set distance. Um, okay, this is allowed range, so that's probably fine. What I was thinking there was maybe have some sort of range, but it's between 0 and 1 for melee. But I guess this is implied. But maybe some games I've seen bows can only hit within, say, 2 to 5, so you can't attack something standing directly in front of you. So maybe that's something I'll need to cater for eventually. So let's just copy this. Oh, what was the charge called? Maybe I'll just call it charge. Oh, let's ask Rock. Okay. Okay, here we go. Game. You came up with an enemy called a Scrap Skitter Vorling. It's a Cosmic Junkyard Odyssey. What is the name of the charge attack? The Scrap Skitter Vorling has where it charges at the enemy from a distance. Junk Lance Dash. Done. Junk Lance Dash. And the range should be, say, 5. Okay, let's start this ability picker nonsense. So what does it need? It needs a target, distance to target, not necessarily. It's yeah, target, a condition, so this would be if enemy then an action. So we'll go based off this for now, but I've got a feeling it's not quite everything we need. I think this bit maybe can be expanded on. The condition would be condition topic. We'll see, we'll see. Maybe this. Maybe keep it mono behavior so I can build it all in the inspector. No target, self target, ally, foe, or all. That should probably cover it. And then we'll need an actual target type, and we'll get to see that. Picker condition. So we have health here. We don't have stats or anything. Picker condition. So the picker condition is going to be a base class. Okay, man. There'll be publicly accessible boolean of is true, is valid, something like that. So any class that inherits from picker condition will have to provide its own way of deciding if the condition is true or not. So the condition, we'll build on that later. So we have a target, we have a condition, and what was the last piece? An action. Something we want it to do. Maybe that's enough. So ability picker, there needs to be some way of holding these three. Let's just call it ability slot, ability picker slot. And here should be some way of having all three. Picker target, condition, and then the action. So the ability picker will have a list of ability picker slots. And then let's just see if we can add that to our enemy. So we may not need the ability list if I'm going to add this other object to it. Add ability picker. Let's make that small. So slot list. Maybe it should be its own object since it's getting a little bit cluttered. Okay, junk lash dance. So pick a target. Full. So we don't have a picker condition yet, but we can maybe go for the action and then just drag in chunk lance dash. So we'll put that in there, put that in the action, and then that wrong place. That can get dragged in there. So the order does matter. The thing that's in the first slot will be checked first. So just like Final Fantasy XII Gambits. Okay, so let's check out the AI condition. Essentially, the condition will be any. Just always return true. Because the condition is just there to say, when should I try and do this? And we want it to try and do it anytime the ability can be used, i.e. if it's far away enough. So I think that does mean the ability needs a better range rather than just set distance. Let's do min range and also max range. So return less than, it's got to be greater than or equal to minimum range, and that's got to be less than the max range. Let's see. What are our abilities? Jump by Frenzy, the minimum range is 0 and 1 because it's melee. Anything within 1 is fine. The dash, however, needs to be within say 4 and 5, or maybe 5 and 6. Okay, then back to the AI condition. Any picker condition. And this will inherit from picker condition. And we need to implement the abstract class is true. Because it's any, we just return true. So let's see. So picker condition, the ability picker uh, we'll just say pick, and this should try and perform. Okay, we should maybe pass in a target. So if slot list dot um, current slot index start at 0. Close that. Just so we've got a better word to use. It's easier to read slot than it is slot list current slot index. So if slot dot how do I access all the things in it? Is target valid? And we'll pass in target. Maybe object. Nah, target is what we're looking for really. So do we have any way of telling what is a friend or foe at the moment? Probably not. Some kind of alliance script maybe? No. I think that should be fine, making sort of a team colors script. Just for the sake of if any if there's any AI that helps you in the game, then that'll need to be marked so enemies attack it too. Let's just make alliance. No alliance for objects and things. We can have hero and enemy. That's, I think, probably good enough. Uh, and then you could just slap that on the enemy. Oh, we've got errors, so it's not going to be okay with that. Is target valid? So we'll grab the alliance object and then this, if I grab the component in the parent equals this game object dot get component in parent alliance. I think that should work. If target alliance dot alliance, okay. Now this is where I should pass these into the picker target. Public bool is valid target. In here we'll pass in the alliances, my alliance, other alliance. And I might just type out lengthwise. So if target type equals self, return true, because that's always going to be true, as long as you've targeted yourself. How does it know? Okay, so ability picker, no, where is it? Picker slot. The slot shouldn't be doing this. I should just pass in the target. Mm, Okay, that should be fine. Is valid target is going to take target object instead. So if the target type is target self, return game object equals to target object, because if those are the same thing, it will return true, which means the target is valid. If they are not the same thing, it will return false. If target type equals target type all, then just return true, I think, because it doesn't really matter. It's just looking for anything. If target type equals none, return target object equals null, because it should be none. If target type equals ally, this is where we want to grab. So we'll get the alliances here. Return my alliance dot equals target alliance dot alliance. So if they're the same, return true, and if the target type is equal to faux, it's going to be the opposite. Return my alliance dot alliance does not equal target alliance alliance. And then if all else fails, just return false anyway, because something went wrong. So that's if we want a valid target. So back to the slot. Should be the target done. Ability picker. There'll probably be some kind of public bool is slot valid. And then that's in here, we will return that and the condition, the target is valid, so let's public bool is condition met. So similar thing, condition. Oh, okay, we've got is true, but yeah, I guess is true is maybe better. Is true, and then we pass in the target object. Oh, so just return is true. So is slot var. So we still need to check if the action is valid. Uh, mm, performable, usable. Is action usable? Public bool is usable. So this is where we will do the actual ability checks. This code is probably reusable based on when the player wants to use their abilities as well. So this will maybe get extracted out at some point. So what does an ability have? At the moment, it is just a range. Public bool is target in range. Ability range. Return get component ability range because the range component should be on the same object as ability. Is range is target and range. So the user is going to be this game object and the target object. That's not true actually, that's not good. User and target, we'll go to that. So these are on. I guess this doesn't need to be here. I can just use range is target and range. That's maybe better code. If it's here, may as well use it instead of having lots of easy accessors on the parent. Picker action. So is usable. So this is all going to be on an enemy, but a little bit down. So I should maybe have in the ability picker a way of saying public. Uh, it's not even enemy. It's just I guess object. Public game object. Parent, is parent good enough? Uh, for now, I'll simply call it enemy. For now, but that could change if the game wants me to throw in um, other characters and things. Okay, enemy, or even just enemy. Return get component in parent enemy. Ability picker. So this picker target, picker action, all them should be able to reach for an ability picker above them. Uh, so is the ability usable? So now we can use ability.range is target in range, and it's looking for a user, which is going to be a little bit rough to get. Ability picker dot enemy. Ability picker dot enemy dot game object. User equals that. I guess because it's private, maybe make it lowercase. It's easier to distinguish anyway. So there we go. User and then target object. So bool is usable, true, and then we're gonna go through the list and find at any point if it doesn't work. So if the user is not in range, is usable equals false. Any other checks here, false, and then just return is usable. So let's see, ability picker. We're trying to pick. Okay, so we got the lower level stuff that we probably don't want being public. Is action usable? Return ability action dot is usable. And then let's just have this one function here that is called from outside that says, is the slot valid, i.e. are all the other checks working? Do the same thing. Valid is equal to true, but then we do is target valid. So how do we get the target in the first place? Let's just take it in here. So if it's not valid, is valid as false. If is condition true, is valid equals false. Action usable, is valid as false. Otherwise, just return whatever is valid is. Maybe a better way of doing this is to just return early. So just return false, because it stops the code, it stops the rest of the code from being run when it doesn't need to be. And then we just return true at the end if it passes all the checks. Yeah, that's much better. I could probably do that in the other place that I started doing that as well, wherever that was, this thing here. There we go. Is slot valid? And then this is where we pass in an object, which we should have. I think it's on the enemy somewhere. Protected target. So let's just make protected target. So we'll make public game object get target, and that way we aren't really worried about overwriting the target variable. Get target. There we go. And then maybe do the same for the slot. Public. That's wild. Okay. If we're not running any code, it probably makes sense just to make it a property. Maybe same thing here. Nah, I guess we're going inside that object, so yeah. Get ability picker, okay. And then so this needs to be in a loop for each item in the list. We get the slot, check if it's valid, and then return the ability. But if it's not, then we want to increase the slot index so we can check the next slot. But that is bad code. We'll do that. So this bit of code ensures that it loops back on itself. It's more of a safety measure in this instance because actually we don't need it. What am I doing? If I'm looping through all the things here, yep, don't need that, don't need that. So if we don't return an ability, it will automatically increase by 1 again. Check the next slot, see if it's valid, blah blah blah. If it doesn't find anything though, it's just going to have to return null, which is where it's very important that when I'm actually building the enemies, they should always have something they can do, even if that is simply walk towards the player, try and get closer to the player. So that's a lot of code without actually testing anything. Let's add another slot. Uh, Junk Bite Frenzy, and this will be Junk Bite Frenzy. But once it's picked, then we need to do something. So where is that logic going to come in? Enemy, choose ability. Do I have an ability picker on here yet? Ability list can bugger off. Okay, component children, ability picker. I think that should work. Ability picker dot pick. And then this will be, I guess, target. We don't need to do enemy get target because I've passed in target here. Maybe this is a good opportunity to get rid of this line as well. In pick, I can maybe just enter game object user and then have game object target. Is slot valid? Is it the action is usable that uses the user? Yeah, which we don't really need. User object, just to keep it in line with what we've got here, I guess. Get rid of that. User object. Okay, and then work back up the way. It means we probably don't need this. And I think that's just a bit cleaner. It means it's less locked in. So is a slot valid? This is probably going to need user object 2 so that we can pass in here. Unless I've just messed myself up. Is usable. Nah, there we go. Okay. Okay, let's see. Did that fix it? We still got something. Is slot valid? Right, pass in the user, pass in the target. One more. Okay, so when we pick here, we just need to pass in ourself, game object and target. Much better. So if ability equals null, yeah, I guess just return maybe. Depends on what this is doing and where it's being called, I guess. They want some way of performing the ability. Hmm. Let's check out the actual enemy code again. And let's see. So it's in here. When it's alerted, try and choose an ability. And chase target is maybe not a thing anymore. So I'll need some way of regulating what an enemy does because I don't want it to attack infinite number of times every second because of the number of frames. So this should maybe be some kind of, oh, he's got a cooldown on moving. Maybe it should be a cooldown on attacking as well. Okay, ability cooldown. So this isn't going to be specific to one ability. This is going to be a specific to the enemy itself. So when it tries to pick an ability, even if it fails, it will set the ability countdown to something. So it waits that number of seconds before it tries to do another action. So this should be fine. Handle move cooldown and then handle ability cooldown. I don't think we care if it can move or if it's near the target position. We just want to take the ability cooldown countdown minus time delta time. Maybe we do care about this one. We don't want it to start moving and then immediately go, oh, let's attack again. Or maybe we do. Okay, well, let's just see. I'll leave it the way it is for now. So, when this enemy says, I've been alerted, you should choose an ability, but this is an update, so it happens all the time. Okay, if he's alerted and the ability, hey, why can't I see that? Private. So he has can move, but what about can act? Less than? Should be less than and equal to? Strange. Okay, can if he can act as well. So if he's alerted and he can act, choose an ability. And let's not chase for now. Maybe something like global ability cooldown. Ripping that from Warcraft, where there's just a general cooldown. Say 1 second. But if he actually picks a proper ability, then it will increase the cooldown by a lot more than 1 second, I would imagine. Choose an ability. This is, I'll just see where this goes. I don't know if it's getting kept. Perform ability. So if it's equal to null, do that. Otherwise, start the core routine, perform ability. Maybe pass in the ability there. Yeah, display name, there we go. So an ability, I guess this is a bit more than just return. I will set the ability cooldown countdown equal to global ability cooldown. And then maybe debug a quick found no usable ability. So if I'm very, very far away, it will find no usable ability, which I don't know if I'll even be able to trigger this. We'll see. Perform ability, which just means telling us that you've done something. And let's just test because it's been so long. Have you seen me yet? No, this doesn't seem to work anymore. Randomly moving, and now it's not moving. I have died. So do I still have everything else still working? If I turn chase target back on, will he scream at me and run? No. Why does he not see me anymore? Did I turn something off? Sight distance? Cube, I turned it off for some reason. Probably to test. Okay, let's get this back on. So once he sees me, he should start trying to use move. Oh, okay, there we go. Target spotted. Nothing. Oh, we don't have alliances yet. Okay, let's see. Alliance, and this is going to be an enemy. And let's just apply all. Player, alliance, hero. Let's just apply all again. Let's see. Found no usable ability. Okay. No problem. Why does he try and leave? What is he? Hold on, what's happening? Found no ability, randomly moving. So he still tries to do the random movement nonsense. Ah! Okay, we don't want that. We want to say, if he can act, choose an ability. But we don't want him to necessarily start randomly moving again. We just want to keep looking for abilities. So he should just stop this time. Okay. Okay, no usable ability. I get real close. He can't do anything if I go a bit further away. Target out of sight. He continues moving around. Okay, that's cool. Performing Junk Lance Dash. It actually said it. Okay, turn around. No usable. I wonder how far away I am when it happens. Let's just spit that out as well. Debug.log. This is going to be vector3 distance between transform.position and target dot transform position. This is just for the sake of knowing. Just he's freaking out all over the place. Okay. Target out of sight. Let's go in sight. Ah. That's 13 away. You kidding me? 11, 9. That's me. There we go. Okay, so that's actually a really small distance. I thought that was a lot bigger, 4 to 5. So let's say oh yeah, it's not really this either. It's from the tip. Uh, enemy sight position, isn't it? What was that again? Attack origin point. It's probably from here we want to begin. Because that gives you from the end of that face towards the end, towards the player. Okay, anyway, so the ability, maybe melee range is like 2, 0 to 2, and dash can be 5 to 8, maybe. that's a bit close. And that's still really short distance. Maybe 5 to 10, and then if if he's in range, he will use that. And then the last one can be move. Set distance, ability range. What ability ranges do we have? Self ability range. We'll call it move towards because I guess there would be a similar move away. So this ability is going to move towards whatever target you have, and then move away will move away from a target. This is something I think only the enemy will have, so shouldn't be any problems with it. Ability picker, let's go one more. Move towards. So it will try and dash, and if it's in range, it will use the frenzy attack. And if none of these are working, it will try and move towards the target. So if there's a foe, it will use move towards any condition. That's fine. So each of these abilities now needs some kind of cooldown attached to it. Cooldown shouldn't need any additional data surrounding it, so I think just the public float cooldown. And yeah, I think I said before, but all this can be, well, this one can maybe be, no, it doesn't matter. I was going to say it could be locked down, but we want that to be public. We want that to be public. Probably don't want this to be public actually, because we want to be able to change it from the inspector, so that's fine, but we don't want it randomly being changed somewhere that it shouldn't. Public float cooldown. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. So let's go to the prefabs, abilities, move towards. Let's give it 1 second. Junk Lance dash. I think we'll have a maybe 3. I don't know. That's gonna have a quick cooldown, so it can just slash slash slash. Because the game is supposed to be on the faster pace of things. So maybe everything can be recalibrated later on to increase the player speed, or maybe just have frequent buffs that make you move faster, some shit like that. Ability. So they've got cooldowns now. That means when you choose an ability and you do find one, you can set the ability cooldown to ability.cooldown. So now it won't spam, oh, dashing, dashing. It'll say dashing, and then it'll wait for however long, 3 seconds. So there needs to be some effect that happens, because at the moment it's fine just saying that it's used something, but it doesn't actually perform the effect. Do I want to go into that right now? Hmm. Maybe in the next video. Maybe the next video will be adding effects to these abilities, and then maybe either after that or the video after that, then I would like to get into some base building. And then probably the video after that, maybe getting a bit ahead of myself, but then that one would maybe be trying to get some actual structure around the game. Now we have some kind of player that moves and at least one enemy that would be able to damage you and things. It'd be nice to start building the game loop just to get some idea of how that's going to work. Right, so that's enough for now. Probably a smaller or shorter video than usual. So see you in the next one.